So a little background on us. We are Tekmetric, a cloud-based all-in-one shop management system with a DVI built in is one. That's somewhat of a unique differentiator of us as far as SMS or shop management system goes. We have the DVI as it's baked into the software. I was a shop owner myself from 2007 to 2017, 2016-ish, ran a successful shop here in Houston, Texas. We did $2.4 to $2.6 million in gross revenue, specifically highline and European vehicles only. And we also had a successful sales model. Also, we did about $35 million a year in gross sales for European and exotic vehicles. Prior to that, I was a physician turned shop owner, and found that there was a need in this industry for a cloud-based shop management system. And Tekmetric was the reason why we decided to build it, was just out of necessity. We were primarily using locally installed on-prem systems. I've probably tried all of them out there that you guys have all used, and found that in a day and age where you had a cell phone that was so powerful in your hand in 2008, we still had to use archaic systems that didn't communicate with customers, didn't have the ability to send pictures, and so forth. So Tekmetric is kind of a fusion of all of these brainchild or wild ideas you can think of that kind of eliminates the need for having multiple systems, disjoint systems, and that's why we built it. We have grown quite rapidly over the last year and a half or two. We are one of the favorite cloud-based systems. And now, just to touch upon a little bit about cloud-based versus on-prem, a lot of people do ask us questions about cloud-based. Is it safe? I don't know if I want my data stored in the cloud. We've even heard of the words it's going to float away. Cloud-based is actually the standard for software development now. And in fact, everybody is moving to the cloud, and you can see that with Microsoft. In fact, all of their applications are now cloud-based. And in fact, most of the banks out there are cloud-based, like Netflix is also cloud-based too. So cloud-based is the wave of the future. Traditional on-prem systems like Mitchell, All Data Managed Online, Desktop, RO Writer, those are the older generation legacy systems that you can't really have access to your system unless you're physically in the shop or unless you're remoting into your shop. The other reasons why cloud-based is so popular is it gives you connectivity to a bunch of other areas in this space as well, such as marketing companies like Kukui that will allow you to seamlessly and quickly transmit data back and forth.
Yes, Jimmy, you are correct, actually. So I did touch on my background. Yes, I did run a Ford dealership. So I was the enemy for a little while. I was, and I can tell you guys some of the stuff that I heard, but walked into a Ford dealership that had one technician in the back, no salespeople, no cars for sale. Ford had showed up and taken everything away from the previous owner. We ended up growing that to about 20 employees, and we stayed around $14-15 million annually in sales, between sales and parts and service. So yeah, that's my background on this, and it's interesting to be on this side of it now, to be able to see the independent side of the industry actually being so much more cohesive than what I actually had any idea about, especially in tough times like this. And I'll talk about some of that during the presentation, but I always had this impression that it was so disjointed, and Bob's garage there in town didn't know what Steve's garage was doing, and to see a group of industry professionals come together like this to share knowledge and experiences, technology that's at their fingertips and so forth is very nice to see. So Sunil will be fielding any questions from you guys. So I will not be keeping an eye on the chat. So Sunil will take care of some of those. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I am going to talk a little bit about Tekmetric, but more about the industry and what we are seeing, and ways to hopefully that everyone can stay relevant and just continue pushing forward, looking for the next thing and the next way of doing business. With Tekmetric, with the industry, in my opinion, it's always about adapting to change. And we'll talk about a couple of examples of companies that did that a long time ago. And what we've all been forced to do. I've got a couple of very good examples that I'll discuss of what I've seen with some shop owners doing here recently. And what's happening right now in the industry statistically. So I don't know how many of you have seen this, but take a picture of this URL here. But we came up with this a few weeks ago now. The Tekmetric 500, the TM 500 reference is we pulled a random sampling of 500 of our shops across the nation because we saw so much uncertainty and fear, whether it be founded or not. And so a lot of shop owners were, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I should close my doors. I've already heard of 4 or 5 shops closing their doors. And so we wanted to put together and quantify some of that. And I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys just to show you what that actually looks like. So if you look here at the Tekmetric 500 index, you guys should definitely go to this. This is updating in real time. Since we are, like what Sunil said, we are a fully cloud-based system. So you get real-time information, the same as with Jimmy and Kukui. If you guys want to, we are a Kukui certified partner. If you're using Kukui, they are getting real-time information about your customers when your ROs are being posted so they can follow up with customers immediately to make sure that they had a good experience. Similarly, we are doing the same thing here. And on our website, you guys can see 500 shops across the United States. You can see the average car count. If you hover over each one of these, you can see the average repair order, which we have watched steadily climb from before COVID and social distancing was implemented to after. We saw about a 15 to 20% increase in the average repair order overnight. Now, I'm a little bit torn in that scenario because for me, putting my shop hat on, I want to go to a service advisor and say, why weren't we making that much on every car? Why weren't we spending that much time on every single car? Would you rather see less cars and make the same amount of money and spend more time with each car and each customer? Or really, could we have hired another person? Could we have had more people working in the shop and been making that much per repair order and doing more repair orders? But out of necessity, overnight, everyone's ARO shot up. And so it was there all along using the same tools. Tekmetric's tools didn't change. We still had DVI integrated. We still had texting integrated. We still had emailing integrated. We still had approvals right there from the customer cell phone. Every single feature is the same in Tekmetric. It was the shop owners that overnight prioritized, this is the process that we should be doing. And so if you guys look at this, you can actually see car count by region. You guys can see if I hover over specific regions, it updates the numbers. And this is updating, by the way. I think it's every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So hovering over each one of these, you can see what the car counts are, hopefully to see what it's like in your region. And lastly, down here, average repair order by region. Notice here, you guys can sort these by different time ranges. You can look at the quarter, by the month, by the week, and you can see all of this data here in real time. So no matter what shop management software system you're using, I highly encourage you guys to take a look at this. You can keep an eye on it all the time. So I'll go back here, go ahead and present this screen. So check that out. Definitely keep an eye on it. Like I said, real-time information. So with the industry and what we're actually seeing is not that far off from what we've seen with companies like the Blockbusters and Amazons of the world compared to malls. So think about this. It wasn't that long ago. I remember when I lived in Houston, actually, when I met Prashant and Sunil, 12 or 13 years ago, I remember going to Blockbuster. I went to Blockbuster to go on Friday nights, and my wife and I would go in there and pick out movies. And this was right around the time Netflix was really starting to get popular. And when I figured out that it was easier for me to do the things that I love, to do the things that I enjoy, or work a little bit extra that day, or go meet up with some friends, I'd already put in my requests at Netflix, and I knew what movies were going to be showing up, and they were new arrivals, they were new releases, and they made it easier for me to do business with them than it was for me to do business with Blockbuster. And Blockbuster, a fun fact is that Blockbuster, the CEO did pitch that subscription service to the board, and they rejected it because 12% of their revenue was made off of late fees. So over 12%, they disappeared. So keep in mind that this right here is just one example, and we all have many of them. Apple Music, right? Or Spotify, right? These guys have figured out that we wanted to make it easier for customers to be able to get what they wanted. There's a lot of songs that I love. I don't really care for the whole album. I can go to Apple and buy the one song for 99 cents rather than spending $10, $15 on an entire album. And so knowing who your customer is and how they want to purchase is, in my opinion, the most crucial part of determining what you want to get out of your business and the best way to market to those customers. And we all know good old Amazon. So I just watched the UPS driver come up my driveway with a dolly full of boxes. The old joke, I think, if my wife was a transformer, her name would be Amazon Prime. My wife is an ace at purchasing from Amazon. So, it's not uncommon these days for us to go to a mall and see this exact scenario. I went into one not too long ago, and you just don't see people wandering around because Amazon has taken what we all think about buying groceries 10 years ago. Think about buying paper towels and toilet paper. Jimmy was joking about stocking up yesterday. But did you really think that we'd be purchasing those things 10 years ago? And 15 and 20, when Jeff Bezos came up with this idea, he thought, I could just sell some books online. And he took it and ran with it. Absolutely. Making it a frictionless buying experience for each and every person that was going to buy just individual items, right? Individual items that went from books to toys to everyday household items, and they ended up buying out, Whole Foods, and now you can have your groceries delivered to your door. So each and every one of those companies that I just named off, and there's so many examples out there of this, they look to technology to help solve problems. The old adage of, we're not just marketing to millennials. Jamie mentioned it earlier. Doesn't matter. Age is not a thing. Everyone has smartphones at this point. Everyone is utilizing that technology, and the Amazons and Netflix and Apples of the world have changed the way that everyone communicates. Has changed the way that we expect everybody to do business. And so, for us, we always try to look to the future. Now, Tekmetric does have a number of tools here, and we're always thinking about, yes, here's all the things that we do today, but what will the industry be like in another 5 years? What will we be doing in the future that changes the way that each and every one of us are doing business? How has ride sharing changed the world, and how do we commute to work? All of those things are items that our entire industry we're actively discussing now at many of the conferences that we attend. So embracing that protectionism and hanging on to the way business used to be done. I talk to shop owners all the time, and there's so many of them that say that the software system I've got now is just fine. Same one they've had for 10, 15 years. Doesn't have any of the communication tools. Doesn't have even the ability. We would love for people to all do business with Tekmetric, but if you chose to add on even a digital vehicle inspection tool, or you wanted to connect to a marketing company, a lot of these softwares don't even have that. And so hanging on to the way that things used to be done, were done in the past, is just signing your own death warrant, in our opinion. So history and the way things used to be done is irrelevant. And I will give an example of something that actually just happened this week. So I had a shop owner call me. He's been a customer of ours now for, 3 or 4 or 5 months. He calls me and says, "PJ, I'm buying that other shop I told you about." And we never want to hear about a shop going out of business, but in this instance, it's not. It's just changing hands. And the reason that it's changing hands is the one thing that he told me. I said, okay. I said, we'll call him Bob. I said, okay, Bob. I said, are you purchasing that customer's data? Would you like us to import that customer data into Tekmetric? And he just started dying laughing. He said, no, that's what I've got my kids for. He said, that's why I'm able to buy this business. He said, because all that customer data is on the old triplicates of paper with the carbon copies in bankers' boxes right behind the front desk. 100%, 100% pen and paper shop. And this is not uncommon. I probably talk to a pen and paper shop, I'd say once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So there's a lot of great shop owners here. I recognize a number of people that I've already spoken with, some that are clients of ours. Many of you I've met at conferences. Each and every one of you are already investing in yourselves and investing in your businesses and looking for that edge. You're here training and wanting to learn new ways of doing business and invest in that. You would be blown away how many times we talk to shop owners like this. And so that being said, take this information and please share it. Talking, doing what we're doing now, but also after this awesome virtual conference, I think is very important for everyone to go out and share this information and say, man, there are tools out there that can help you. Some that are very affordable and very applicable to the way you do business today. But let's change it and let's make it a little bit better. So please share this information out there, that these tools are here to help them make their businesses better. One of the statistics that was given earlier was average repair order increases. I mean, who wouldn't want to make more money with these tools that are at their hands or at their fingertips? The digital vehicle inspection, 20% increase overnight. It is already there in our system if you so choose. But we've got screenshots of text messages. I've got one that I've shared with a couple of customers, and it's a current customer of ours. Went up 31%. Just by implementing Tekmetric. So he utilized the tools and the efficiencies in place and started sharing those digital vehicle inspections with the customers, and building that trust and transparency, which I'll talk on in a moment. So the question is how do you provide that value to your customers? What are you doing to create that value to your customers? So the new generation of customers has absolutely nothing to do with age. Absolutely nothing to do with age. It is their expectations. So the new generations of customers, unfortunately, a lot of them are not necessarily looking just for that relationship. Yes, there are many that we should foster those relationships and maintain that, but there is also a very large segment that just want to know, what will it take to fix my car? How much will it cost me? And when will it be done? And that's it. It's simple. There's so many times to where I'm going to say this, and I mean this in a heartfelt way. I believe truly that when we stop selling parts and labor, we're going to move on to selling that peace of mind and building value in the business. Everybody that you compete with that's in your town, they're all selling parts and labor. The idea for us now is to build that trust and transparency, educate a customer very quickly on a subject that they just have very little interest in. Nobody really knows about cars anymore. Nobody really has any interest in cars as much as they do. They look at them more as a tool to get from point A to point B, to do, like I said earlier, to do the things that you really enjoy, what you have fun doing, the time you want to spend with your family or your friends. You use it to get from home to work to home, and to do the things that you enjoy. But the idea is that tool is going to need attention here and there. And the idea here is to streamline that, make it easy for your customers to take care of that tool at the click of a button. So this is not an uncommon scenario. So this right here is what we see almost every day, is that everybody arrives at work in the morning, right? Their customers want to show up to work, and they want to call in, tell them I need my vehicle repaired. Check engine light came on, or oil service light came on. You call, set up your appointment, you message them the location of your vehicle. You move right on into work, take care of work, and start taking care of the job that they are paid to do. And by doing so, you're allowing them to take away that friction, let them take care of something that they want to do, or that they get paid to do, while you're taking care of their vehicle. Using that technology to confirm with those customers that you're doing what you said you will do, right? We're not in an industry that's had the best reputation for a long time, right? Oh, did they even inspect this? Oh, did they look at this? How do we prove to customers that we're different than all the old adages, right? The old way of doing business. Customers are sent this inspection, and this is what I was saying. I truly believe that utilizing things like the digital inspection tools are all about going through there and inspecting that car. I don't care if it is a brand new vehicle. Go through and take pictures of good tires, good air filters, good wiper blades, the battery test, how many amps were on it. Take pictures of all of those things. Tell the customer your car's in great condition, because you don't want to be the bearer of bad news. If you're the bearer of bad news every single time, they're going to feel like you're the old shop. You're always upselling me something. I came in for an oil change. Well, now it's this. Don't do that. That brand new car gets inspected the same way every time. I've got a customer, he requires 15 or 20 pictures of every single car every time they come in, no matter what. You're setting the customer's expectations from visit number one. And again, you stop selling parts and service, you're selling peace of mind. They tell their friends and family that, they inspect my car. I know it's safe to take my entire family to go scouting on the weekends, to go camping, right? It's ready to go. My family and I can go and use this tool, this car, out to do the things that we enjoy. And that's the idea here. The estimate is sent straight to the customer. This guy's having a workout right here. He gets a quick text message, sees exactly what the car needs, sees exactly what it will cost, and the customer gets to take control of that buying process. So one of the tools that we do have is that you can share that estimate line by line, all recommendations that you are putting out there to the customer, and you're like an attorney. You give them the advice, let them do with it whatever they want, right? And let them make the choice of whether they want to make the purchase or not. Take the friction away. They don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation. They're like, Jimmy Lee, the service advisor, always calls me and always wants to upsell me something, but I can just say no if I really, really wanted to right here from my phone and just decline that work. Take that away. Make them comfortable with that buying process and give them that control. That's what we're all used to with the Netflixes, the Apple Music, with the Spotify, right? All of that, Amazon for that matter, it's all in our control, and that's what everyone's become accustomed to. So giving people that control is the idea here. So vehicle gets repaired, statuses are sent, customer is notified, when the vehicle is finished and available for pickup. Again, not wondering. Unfortunately, I had my 4Runner serviced yesterday, and I had to call the shop about 20 minutes before they were closing and said, hey, is it done yet? So we're working on them. We'll get them on Tekmetric. But that being said, I had to call and ask. I hadn't heard anything about it. It's, oh yeah, it's finished. I forgot to. And the guys, they got busy. And your service advisors are not perfect. They're going to forget. They're going to get busy. They're pulled in 100 directions. But if they just had to click a button when that was finished, that gets sent straight to the customer, again, you've enhanced that experience for that customer, and they're going to tell their friends and family what kind of experience they had. And lastly, text to invoice. I stay on the phone anywhere between 4 to 6 hours every single day. When someone tries to call me to get me to pay for something, I had a lady call me 2 days in a row just trying to reach me to pay an invoice. She sent me an email. I clicked on a link and paid it within 5 minutes of her sending it to me. She just couldn't catch me. And people are that way. We all have so much technology at our fingertips, and we're all working from home, homeschooling at this point. How can we make it easier? This lady spent time calling me 2 times, sends me an email, and 5 minutes later, I had the invoice paid. So now back to it, the customers have now had an entirely frictionless experience. They are done. They are finished. The vehicle is ready to go. It's sitting at their shop, back at their office, ready for them to head home and do what they love. So that being said, that was the basis for Tekmetric, and for what we wanted to create from day one, was to create that experience all along to where it's nice and seamless for customers to be able to use this. We have this one presentation that we've used in the past where it's funny. It shows what Sunil used to do, Sunil had a higher end clientele, right? And now that what Sunil's high end clientele expected 12, 13 years ago, all of our customers expect today, because technology has just become at everyone's fingertips. Sunil has a picture of his shop management software system and a digital camera that he was using to take pictures, and his personal cell phone or a work cell phone that he was using to send text messages back and forth to customers. And he was using an email address that was no way connected. He was emailing customers those pictures and so forth. And we had all of these things that were disjointed, not communicating, no tracking, and utilizing that to increase that level of communication with customers. And now the technology exists today for shop owners to have all of that sitting in one single system. And not just this, but also, we always joke with everybody. We say we play like Switzerland. We want to play nice with everybody. We allow shop owners to connect to many other vendors, right? We have an actual open integration. So there's a lot of companies out there that have already connected to the Tekmetric API, so that shop owners actually get to choose who they want to do business with. It's not just about the shop's customers. It's also about shop owners themselves. You guys have chosen who you want to do business with, and who you've picked. And we want you to be able to do business with them. We want you to share that information with those companies as you so choose. And it is funny, actually. We have had people ask about cloud-based systems, and will my information float away? No, it does not. So we are a fully cloud-based system, meaning that anywhere you have internet access and a browser, you are using your shop management software system from anywhere in the world. It could be in Tahiti on a beach with a fruity drink, or you could be at an awesome training at a conference, pulling up to make sure that when the cat's away, the mice aren't playing a little too much. Check your KPIs, look at your ARO, look at your sales, and you're seeing it in real time, right? Every 30 seconds, all of this information is being updated so that you can see what's going on in your shop from anywhere. So for us, and I hope that for the entire industry, we are always asking for feedback. We're always asking for best practices. What are you guys seeing in the industry? How we can make our software better, what you see coming down the pipeline as well, in terms of the next big features that you think you or your customers are going to want. And we do focus on listening to those customers. Tekmetric it's entirely built on that. And so listening to our customers, just like you all do with our system, it's entirely no startup fees, no contracts, no cancellation fees, none of that, because the way we look at it is just like shop owners. Our customers could have fired us at any point in time, anytime. They had no contract to come back. They had no startup fees. They were either happy with the product we gave them, they were happy with the service that we gave them, and if they were not, they voted with their wallet and they walked away. And so with us, we're huge on that. It's about that openness, and say, hey, if you'd like to do business with us, we want you to. If you don't, that's perfectly okay. You're not tied to us at all. So please do keep us in mind. If there's anything that we can do, reach out to us. We always love to say, simplify your shop or life, and then supercharge your shop.
Now, regarding this and service going down, internet going down, we do use our cell phones, but is there an issue with going from one to the other and then going back and putting all the information back in?
So are you, if I'm understanding, I guess you're saying switching from one shop software over to, let's say, Tekmetric or something like that?
Yes. Yes.
No, ma'am. That's a fantastic question, and obviously these are things that we would address in anyone that has interest in Tekmetric. But we actually do data migrations, I would say, give or take, for over 100 different shop management software systems that are on the market. Now, there's kind of that big 10 that everyone knows in terms of the server-based or on-premises based systems, and the large majority of them, that repair order history, customer history, vehicles associated with it, very large majority. We can also pull over your parts inventory, vendors, and there are a select few where we can even bring over canned jobs from your previous system.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, ma'am. Now, that being said, information is always yours. This is something I get asked about a lot, especially on the cloud. Jimmy, I don't know if you guys ever deal with this, but it's always, well, whose information is it and what do you do with it? Point blank, if you guys even look at that Tekmetric 500, you'll notice everything is 100% anonymized. You have no idea what shops you're looking at. It is not our information to share. It is also protected with very large amounts of redundancy, right? So we've got multiple servers backing up all of this information every few minutes on Amazon servers. So all of that is being backed up every few minutes. So the old way of doing business, where you guys had to do, I used to have to do this in my shop. We were supposed to do a daily backup and a week off-site backup. And guess what? Everyone forgot almost all the time, it seemed like, unless I brought it up. None of that has to happen now. So our system's never gone down, but let's just say that it did. If it did, you didn't lose anything more than what you did in the last 5 minutes.
Perfect. That answered a lot of questions.
Thank you. I was going to say I get asked that very often. That's a fantastic question.
Yeah, because with everybody doing the homeschool and all that kind of stuff, the internet right now, I mean, man, even at home, even at 100, it's amazing. Jim, you've got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there a skeleton portion of the program that could still run on a shop laptop or desktop to get them by until it come back up, should the unlikely event that it goes down?
No, sir. Everything on our system is 100% cloud-based. There is a second bit of technology that I did not get to throw out there. I actually learned about this one through a franchise that's using Tekmetric. They required each and every one of their franchise locations. I believe it's called a fail-safe router, Jim. Never heard of this before, but essentially what it is it's a Wi-Fi router that you would plug in an Ethernet cord to the back of, and it pitches out Wi-Fi signal, right? Just like normal. But if the internet ever goes down, I believe you pay a flat fee, don't quote me on this, maybe $10, $15 a month for it to fail back onto cellular data and push out Wi-Fi signal into your shop.
I have that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to use it, and how does it work?
Yeah, I've got a commercial grade router with a dedicated Verizon USB modem that goes into the router, and it automatically fail safes. If I lose my cable internet, it goes to that. It's a little slower, but we have uninterrupted internet.
Yes,
beautiful.
Sir.
Love that.
And so that's going to be no slower. That would be no slower. Actually, it's probably much faster than what we were experiencing when we were in Las Vegas. With all those people there and in those big buildings, we had pretty slow internet, but nobody knew the difference. Tekmetric can still very easily run on that connection.
Usually you need a commercial grade router, which you should have anyway. I got friends of mine that work for the NSA that I knew from the military that recommended what hardware I get.
Nice.
Yeah, stop bragging, Jim.
No, hey, I don't know everything. I'm not afraid to ask for help.
See,
no, it's a good question, and we get asked that.